Okay, so we are going to try and do this live, at least attempt to, and narrate as we go. So what I have done is I've removed this bulkhead, which was fine. My idea is that now when I put this in, I won't have to fight with that little piece, so that might help to get these things all connected. I also used this bulkhead the cutout from the bulkhead as a little template, and I made the same thing but two of them together, and I'm going to glue these on top of the old bulkhead. The idea is that maybe will support these saw teeth and will give some contour, because I'm missing on the edges here. Things are starting to fall apart, so I'm going to glue that in first to see what happens. Then I also, there's this one edge here that was curling over. I think it was this one. I put some of that thick super glue, very thin layer, hit it with some accelerator, and my hope is that makes that be nice and solid so these will clamp together. So the idea will be to put this in first, then once that's dry, slide these together and get everything nice and neat all around here and straight, then slide this little sucker in at the end. So that's going to be the plan. So first things first, I'm just going to glue this thing in, and then we'll let it dry and come back and try to actually put this together. And my son's here, so he can give me lots of support. Right?
Go Dad, woohoo.
Yeah, see?
You got this.
Yeah. What a wonderful guy. So again, this has fit 18 million times I've put it in, but now that I put glue in it, it probably won't. So just be ready. Oh me, it fit. Okay. So now my hope is that is going to give me my support, and hopefully it's not too fat. So we'll see what happens. Well, let's let that dry and come back. But the other thing I noticed after looking at the plans one more time, remember I put this piece in to give me some stability and shape. This piece was kind of hard to put in. It's like it was too thin. It was too soft. It was too little. It was like there was air around this, and that is unusual. But I went ahead and squeezed it together and glued it with 8,000 kinds of glue. It's fantastic. And then, only then, did I look at the plans and see that there has to be tabs that come out here, and those are going to be for attaching the rear of the fuselage, well, basically the fin, the rudder. So I'm going to have to pull this out and put those tabs in anyway. So this easy model, I've made some real good gaffes on it so far. So there you go. We'll let this dry and then we'll come back and see if I can get this together. Here we go. I am going to try to glue only part of this, one side and the bottom. Then come back and do the other part, assuming that if I glue this like this, it's going to be sort of in line. Because many times that I've done this, it seems like it is in line. Okay. Here goes nothing. So let's line up that little seam right there and give it a little squeeze. Let's line those up and give them a little squeeze. Never going to look as good as it did the first time I did it, but is it going to be enough? That seam looks pretty good there. Let's just concentrate on that first. Not worry about this other side. Let's make sure this looks pretty good. Now it's, again, because there's glue under there, I tried to sand it and things, but it's never going to be like it was. So there's going to be a little step right there. That's my problem. It won't look bad once it's together. You won't hardly notice it, but it's there, and that's because I'm a moron. Because when you first put it in, you know, it looked like, I mean, it almost looked like it wasn't even there. It was beautiful until I fouled it up. So let's let that dry for a few seconds, and then we're going to come back and slide this in. And I think we got her. I didn't put any glue on this back piece. I'm thinking it's just going to be there for structural help, and I think when I put that bulkhead in, that'll help squinch everything together. So squinch is a technical term. Yeah, you can see there's a big step here, and that wasn't there before. But as long as you don't look at the model like this, you look at it like this, it won't look so bad. But this is definitely not very Polish of me. Dang it, I wish I'd have thought this one through a little bit more. It's gonna work, but. All right, so that's kind of dry. Let's put a little more tacky glue along here. And again, these have little bumps of glue on them from previously. I tried to sand them off, but they didn't sand off real well, and it was starting to damage the paper. So again, a lot of this is doing the best I can with what I got. Good enough for the girls we date, that sort of thing. But I don't think it's ever going to look quite the way I wanted it to. Okay, so that is together. Now, is it straight? Yes, it looks relatively straight. If that will dry, I'm going to call that a ween, as Nacho would say. Make sure it's sticking together. This isn't bulging out. This looks so much better than it did when I was trying to put it together the first time through, so I'm not going to complain. Give this a little squeeze again. Everything looks even, like these lines all line up where they're supposed to on both sides. So I think overall it's going to look just fab, but it's definitely not ideal. And then when I put that piece on there, when I get that, that'll just need to slide this in place and glue it in. I won't even show that on camera because that's just going to be a lot of dinking around and making sure it gets under here. That'll give this shape, and that'll look fine, and then we'll have the whole thing ready to go. And I do think we dodged a very large caliber bullet. Okay, we're going to call that good. Does it look straight to you? Does this look straight? I think so. Fuselage side looks pretty good. All right, we're going to say that's good, and we salvaged it. So I'm going to go put this in off camera, and the next thing will be to fix this. And then we can start putting in some tubing here and finish the decking on the cockpit. And then we'll start with things like the tails and the wings. And we're moving right along. Sweet.